Hi, I'm Reagan. I am a wellness coach and educator, and I am here to help others make informed and healthy decisions for themselves. So today I'm going to talk about meditation. I'm going to talk about my own story with meditation, my own personal struggles, and the relationship that I've built with it. So I'm going to start by talking about how growing up, I really struggled with my brain. I did not understand why my brain worked the way that it did, and it led to a lot of shame and depression. I was really spacey. You know, my family would always say, oh, Reagan's off in her own little world. They would call me random because I would just kind of be like lost in my thoughts, and I would just randomly share these little facts. And I really did not understand why my brain worked the way that it did. And as I got older and got into my teen years and even into some like early adulthood, I honestly genuinely thought I was a little crazy. I laugh about it now, but like at the time I was really, really worried because I would get out of the shower and I would just sit on my bed wrapped in a towel and just stare at the wall. And like I could do that for I don't even know how long I was doing that for. And I would get these sounds and these images and these thoughts just stuck in my head, and they would just loop over and over and over and over again, and I just could not get them out. I couldn't get them out of my head. I couldn't focus on anything else. It just was always there in the background, and no one else I knew dealt with these things. No one else I knew struggled with these things. The few times I did share about this, people were like, oh, or they're like, I don't want to be inside your head. And it was really isolating, and it was really lonely, and it was really scary. And so I developed a lot of depression and anxiety from it, and honestly, it was exhausting. It was so exhausting, and I struggled for a long time. And in my early 20s, I learned about neurodivergence. And that's when everything started to click for me, because I had people on my TikTok and on my Instagram talking about how their brains worked. And it was the first time that I felt seen and understood. And I was like, these are the things that I was so scared of. These are the things that I was so worried about. And here's thousands of people sharing these same experiences. And it really changed like the whole trajectory of my mental health. And honestly, probably my whole life. I'm only in my late 20s now, so we'll see. But one thing that I did is I looked back on my life and I saw all of the coping mechanisms and all of the systems that I had started to develop to help me survive and to help me cope. And honestly, some of them were pretty good systems, because by the time I had learned about neurodivergence, I was already working on a lot of my healing and a lot of my depression, and a lot of that I was several years into a healing journey at that point. And I had done a lot of things for myself that were actually really good. Some of them was like painting. When I would paint, I would just kind of get lost in this painting, and I could, I would lose track of time, and I wouldn't necessarily be like in my head. I was completely focused on what I was doing. I had been doing yoga for years at that point, hiking and other forms that I now realize are forms of meditation. I had been meditating this whole time, and it helped to keep me sane-ish. Sane-ish. But basically, like once I realized that all of these things that I had been doing were meditation, and all of these different things that worked for me, and now that I had this added knowledge of neurodivergence and like my brain works differently than a neurotypical brain, I started to like consciously develop these techniques. I've also been certified as a yoga teacher. I've been in the wellness space and industry for a while now, and I've learned a lot of science behind it. I've learned a lot of different cultural techniques that really have helped me to hone in and create techniques that don't just work for me, but I also teach to others. So there are a couple that I would like to share with you now. Now, there are so many different ways to meditate. If you think meditation is sitting cross-legged, going, oh, you're right, it is. But it is also so many other things. So I'm going to teach you 4 of my favorite ways to start meditating. So we have active meditation. We have breath work. We have presence. We have release of control. Active meditation. This is repetitive movement that either requires intense concentration or little to no thought. Let that soak in. Active meditation is repetitive movement that requires either intense concentration or little to no thought. I have 4 examples up on the screen. Example number 1, walking. Walking allows your mind to wander, and eventually your brain will quiet down. It requires presence in the moment. Walking is a great introduction to meditation. Keep your phone tucked away and just walk and see what happens. Okay, number 2, yoga poses. What you typically see online as yoga, quote unquote yoga, is usually what's called an asana practice. These specific yoga poses were created and developed over centuries specifically to prepare the body and the brain for meditation. And so doing them is a type of meditation. It requires a lot of presence in the body, in the moment. You're focusing on your breath. You're focusing on what your body is doing. That is a form of meditation. It is an active meditation. Another one is running. People talk about a runner's high. That is actually a form of meditation that you get. That is that meditation euphoria, that happiness that you get when you're meditating. And running is intense. And meditation can be intense. But that is a really great way to meditate because you have that repetitive movement. Your body is doing the same thing over and over and over again, and your brain gets into a rhythm and it doesn't have to think about it. It just has to do it. And eventually that turns into that meditative euphoria, that runner's high. Then we have weightlifting. And weightlifting is controlled movement, focus on proper breath, and consciously, mind over matter, doing hard things. That's meditation. That is meditation. And honestly, if there is a type of exercise that I would consider the closest thing to a yoga asana practice, it would be weightlifting because of the controlled movement, the focus on proper breathing, the doing something that is really hard. So that is another really great way to meditate. This form of meditation is phenomenal if you have a very active brain. So if you really struggle to focus, especially in a quiet area, then I really recommend starting with active meditation or practicing active meditation. Okay. Next one is breath work. Breath work is something that is very revered in many, many cultures, and it requires a lot of brain power. Now, I am a yoga teacher. I'm also a personal trainer. Breath work is something I incorporate into all of my classes and all of my training sessions. And the amount of people that have to really slow down and concentrate when we are doing proper breathing is incredible. They're like, oh my gosh, this requires so much concentration. And I'm like, yeah, I know. That's why I'm making you do it. But there are so many different ways to do breath work. I put 4 of my favorites up here, 4 that are fairly accessible for people to start practicing on their own. Now, there is a caveat. If you are an individual that struggles with anxiety, some of these might be a little difficult for you at first. If that makes you nervous, I highly recommend going to a class where there is a teacher there to guide you. That will help. And breath work will help to lower your anxiety. So much, so cool. Anyways, okay, so 4 of my favorite ways to do breath work. 1 is counting the breath. This one is super simple. You just inhale for a specific count and you exhale for a specific count. Those numbers don't have to be the same. You can inhale for 3, exhale for 4. You can inhale for 2, exhale for 2. Whatever you need to do. And even when you get really good at that, you can inhale, hold it, exhale, hold it, over and over and over and over and over again. The next one is controlling the breath. This one requires a ton of concentration because most of us do not breathe fully. We do not take full deep breaths. So there are 2 techniques I'll teach you. One is you'll pull the breath in through the top of your head. So you're consciously going, and you're pushing it down your spine as you inhale. And then you exhale and it goes back through the top of your head. And you're focusing on your spine. So you're pulling it in through the top of your head, down to the base of your spine, and back out through the top of your head. Try that again. Okay, the next one is you put your hands on your lower belly. I know you can't see my belly, and you consciously breathe into your hands and you fill up your lower belly with breath. I'll show you. I'll stand up. So that one is hard, and that's okay. Just keep practicing. Okay, the next one is just focusing on your breath. You're not doing anything special to it. You're not really counting. You're not forcing it anywhere. You're not controlling it. You are just being present in the moment. Just noticing your breath, noticing what it feels like, bringing your awareness back to it. As your mind starts to wander, you're just paying attention to your inhale, to your exhale. Yeah, that is breath work. And let's move on to the next one. It's called presence. I don't think that's like the technical term, it's just what I'm going to call it. And this is turning your awareness into your body. So this is something you can do on the fly. It's very fast, very simple, very easy. And it's a very good way to just kind of calm down, especially if your life and your brain gets really loud and crazy. So basically, you are just going to go through your senses. You're going to name 3 to 5 things that you can see, that you can hear, that you can smell, and that you can feel. That's it. It's also really easy for kids to do. The next one. So this is one that's a little controversial for people, but it is one that has really transformed my life. This last one is one that I consciously decided to do in a period of time where I was intensely stressed out. And this one was a game changer for me. It's probably the reason I did not fully burn out before I made some life changes. And it is called release of mental control, or at least, again, that's what I call it. I don't know if it even has a technical term. And this is just letting your mind run rampant. And I know some of you guys are freaking out like, oh no, I can't do that. My brain's crazy. That's the point. That is the point. I like to think of my brain as a wiggly child. I did not always used to think of my brain like this. Again, I used to carry a lot of shame for my brain. Now I don't. I have compassion for my brain. I think of it as just a wiggly child. It's only capable of so much control, so much focus, so much concentration before it's done. It is done and the wiggles take over. So I like to give my brain some playtime, some wiggle time, and I just let it go. It helps so much. If you're worried about this, or if your life is really hectic, start a timer. Really, really short. Do 60 seconds and just let it go. If you have more time, and as you build some confidence with this, and as you feel comfortable doing it, you can go 3 to 5 minutes. Now, I do it every night before bed. There's really no wrong way to do this. I will say, if you do start to spiral, or if you're worried you're going to spiral, utilize some of the other techniques I gave you. Utilize some presence technique. So if you're trying this out and you're going for 30 seconds and all of a sudden you start to go down a depressive rabbit hole, breath work, presence technique. Start to list 5 things you can feel, 5 things you can see. You're gonna know what to do, and it's okay. And you're gonna learn and you're gonna figure it out. And that's the beauty of it. Anyone can do these. And if you struggle, you just need practice. Like, I promise you, so many, or pretty much, I'm gonna say all of the kinks will work itself out as you practice. And so just keep going. So now that I have gone over those, I do want to share one more little shard of wisdom for you. Meditation is a skill. So as I said before, you just need some practice. That's what I mean. Meditation is a skill. It's not a talent. Nobody is born with this perfect ability to meditate. It is a skill that is developed over time. And what is amazing about it is that it allows you to foster a relationship with your body and with your mind that is going to be unique to you, because your brain is different, your body is different. No one else has your brain, no one else has your body, and so no one else can really even tell you how to meditate properly. That is something you develop as you practice, and because of that, nobody is good at meditation. Like, there is no being good at meditation. That it's a relationship. Your relationship with yourself is either fulfilling or you struggle with it. Yeah. And some people just have more practice than others, and some people have more challenges than others. I came from a place of shame and depression and neurodivergence, and I hear all the time, oh, I can't meditate, I have ADHD. Oh, I can't meditate, I have OCD. And I'm like, no, meditation is what would help you. And I mean that. I genuinely mean that. The people that struggle the most with their brain would benefit the most from meditation. It is a challenge. But that challenge is also a belief and that relationship with your brain. When you struggle with, that relationship in your brain, when you think, oh, my brain can't do that, that's a belief. And you can rewire and rewrite that belief through these forms of meditation. That's why I chose these 4, because they really help to build that relationship with your brain, and they help to rewrite those beliefs of, oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do this. I can do that. Yeah. And the more you say that and the more you do that, the better you will get and the more you'll believe in yourself. So, that being said, I want you to allow yourself to start exactly where you are, and try not to shame yourself for not being where you want to be. Allow yourself to start exactly where you are, and try not to shame yourself for not being where you want to be. When you start out, your mind is going to wander. You are going to have to pull your awareness back to what you're doing. I still do that, and I've been meditating for 10 years. I'm okay with that, because it's a practice. I am practicing the form of meditation every time I bring my awareness back to my breath, every time I bring my awareness back to my body. That is where I am building and strengthening this skill. So thank you all for watching this video to the end. If you liked this video, please please comment any of your thoughts, any of your concerns, any tips that you want to share with others. Put them in the comment section. And if you like this video and want to see more, please subscribe. I will be doing a lot more of this. So yeah, thank you. Bye.